In today's vlog, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on spellcraft and prayer and why I basically think they're the same thing, and then paint another analogy for you in the way that I tried to describe it to others. I was recently editing one of my videos to post here on YouTube, and as I was editing it, I started thinking of an analogy that I actually think works really well. So I thought I would make a separate video cutting that piece out and focusing on it here. So in my opinion, prayer and spellcraft is in a way the same thing. They at least fall within the same category. The idea behind prayer is you're appealing to some form of higher power. Now, in some cases, in most cases, I would argue this is some form of a deity. It could just be throwing it out there into the universe as a whole, but you're making a request of something greater than yourself. That's what I mean by appealing to a higher power. Versus spellcraft is where you are understanding and learning how the world works, the naturalness of nature, working with its flows to bring about the change, intent, or your own will, manifesting it or influencing the things around you in your world. So one of them is about actively participating versus the other, which is a request. So the way that I've drawn an analogy to this is I've actually compared this to food. Food is the ultimate effect that you're trying to get. You're trying to get that nourishment. Well, when you're talking about prayer, I equate this to placing an order. So someone else is making the food and they're bringing it to you. Whereas spellcraft is like going into your kitchen and preparing your own meal. In both of those scenarios, they are working with food elements. This is like working with the universe itself. So either someone else, that higher power that you're calling to, is going to take those elements of the universe and put them together to bring about the effect you're asking for, hopefully. Just like in some cases, even when you order from a place that you know very well, they don't always make the best food. Sometimes they mess up. Well, you're not always going to get what you want out of that prayer for various reasons. There's spiritual reasons why your prayers are not answered or not answered in the way that you would like them to be answered, but that's a separate conversation. Likewise, you might not always have access to the right ingredients, or you might not know the right recipes, right? Or the spell in order to craft your own thing at home. And then if you don't do it right and put in everything correctly, there can be variances on how your food at home turns out. The more experienced you are with working with those individual items, the better they become, knowing which flavors to bring out and how to bring it about, not overcooking it, seasoning it just right, and then customizing it to your own tastes. I think that analogy paints a really good picture on the comparison that I view between spellcraft and prayer. So that's just my few thoughts. What do you think? Do you think spellcraft and prayer are the same thing? Why or why not? How would you compare the two to each other? And what do you think of my interesting food analogy? Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.